Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Matt from Freestand. Today we have a very special guest, DJ Dykes. He is actually located in South Korea. It is 12 a.m. over there, and it is 10 over here. So a little bit of a time difference, but we made it work. Um, DJ is a YouTube marketing consultant currently, and he also has some other things that he's working on, which we'll touch on as well. DJ, how you doing?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on the. I guess is it your first show?
Second show, second show.
Second. All right,
Yeah.
I'm honored. I mean, second's good too.
Yeah, there you go. You're in the top three. Um, so anyway, yeah, we could just dive right into it. So what exactly do you do, online? And yeah, if you could just explain a little bit.
Yeah, so I help companies with their YouTube SEO and content strategy. I focus mostly on brands, not on influencers or individual channels, but on corporate channels. They tend to need uh, help with their YouTube channels because most companies have Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter figured out, but YouTube has always been like this redheaded stepchild off to the side. And it's just like, just throw any extra content on YouTube and it just kind of sits there and they don't get any growth. So I help them build their YouTube channel and also, integrate it with the other social platforms. So they're all working for each other and not against each other.
Absolutely. Okay. And how, I guess, if we could break that down a little bit more, like, is there like a specific approach that you take?
Yeah. Um, everybody, all the gurus and stuff, you can kind of just throw off to the side real quick. At least for corporate channels, the key is going to be the content strategy and understanding that YouTube is first and foremost a search engine. It's owned by Google. It's the second largest search engine. So you approach it from an SEO's perspective. What are people searching for? And using that as like the framework to build a content strategy around it. And then also understand that YouTube's goal as a company is to make money, and they make
Yep.
money through ads. So the longer you can get people to watch your videos, the more ads they can put in front of them. So the ultimate goal for me is to help companies create content strategies where people are watching their content for extended periods of time and hopefully binge watching, um, with the ultimate goal of being able to earn ad revenue for YouTube and get their channel to basically be ranked on YouTube.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you make the actual content itself, or do you kind of just structure the content? Are you a consultant? How does that work?
Yeah, I do both actually. I started with my own channel, but the first company I worked with was a university in South Korea, actually. And I produced content for them. I actually worked for the company and produced English content on their channel. Then I transitioned toward taking a step back. Another company had their own CEO producing content. So I essentially worked hand in hand with him to build a content strategy and basically threw it to him and he went with it. Uh,
Got it.
I just took another client yesterday, actually. I'm producing content for his channel. I'm the face of his channel.
Oh, very
And
cool.
so it's kind of everywhere for me.
So you're literally the face of the channel. Like are you like, you're the poster boy for the channel, essentially?
I don't like the word poster boy, but yeah,
Well, I don't know,
I
but
get what you're trying to say.
poster boy wasn't the right word, but you know what I mean. Essentially, you're,
I got you. I'll give you a hard time.
yeah.
It's an Indian client.
Okay.
So
It was,
they wanted somebody who's fluent in English and has experience being in front of a camera because that's their weak point.
got it.
So their content's great though.
And has that voice.
For me?
Yeah, no, I said, and has that voice, that very
Oh yeah,
compelling.
and has that voice. And how is that voice? Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so how did you get started doing this, and how long have you been doing it?
Mhm.
Um, yeah.
I got started on my own channel. It's a hair loss channel, Keratin Brotherhood, and I got started just everybody's on YouTube, so let me throw my content on YouTube. And I remember just holding up my phone and kind of doing like that and recording, and made a few videos like everybody does, and I quit. And somehow I ended up getting lucky. A few months down the road, one of my channels hit the so-called jackpot and started trending in the hair loss niche. I thought, well, maybe there's something here, and so I tried to basically reverse engineer that growth. And I started consuming a lot of the online guru type content and seeing what other successful people were doing. And I realized a lot of them were kind of parroting the same stuff, but not a lot of people were implementing uh, the SEO side of it.
Hmm.
So I really focused on SEO, and that's where I started to really grow because I'm actually ranked for many keywords related to hair loss, but also for voice related to I'm ranked for some cosmetic products, and this is against companies or people who have hundreds of thousands to millions of views. I'm ranked with them
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, again, like I said at the beginning, it's watch time and engagement, but you got to be found first. So that's how basically how I reverse engineered a strategy, and I started taking those things that I learned and applying it to corporate channels and helping them grow their subscriber base and lead generation and stuff. So
gotcha. And when you said you're ranking for these keywords,
mhm.
well, first of all, I guess the video itself, what was the video? Was it a video of you like demonstrating hair loss products or what exactly?
Well, we'll use one example that's how to get a deeper voice, and you probably Google search that right now or
Sure.
YouTube search it now, how to get a deeper voice, and you'll see mine ranked I think third or fourth. Um,
Wow.
but yeah, I mean it's really getting people to get to the video first, click the thumbnail, so you need a good thumbnail, and giving people what you promised to show them in the thumbnail. And engagement is king on YouTube. So shares, comments, and likes are king. So if you can nail those three things: watch time, click through rate, and engagement, it's going to be a winner every time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, all right. Well, switching gears a little bit, in terms of clients, what types of clients do you work with? How do you find them? How do you
Mhm.
prospect them? And
Right.
generally, how many do you work with at a time? How many are you comfortable working with?
I'm comfortable working with two. I'll just put it out there now, two. And the reason why I say this is because and I don't want to throw any consultants under the bus, but
Yeah,
uh, it takes time, man. It takes time. You really got to get in and you got to analyze the data, and you got to run iterations of you know thumbnails. You got to run iterations of you know is this format working or not. So I started out with the company, the college, the university here in Korea, but they weren't really on board with the content strategy. So I got frustrated. And so I like, well, let me work with some influencers. So I actually reached out to a couple of people who were on my channel, like leaving comments, but they had their own channel. So I helped build a content strategy for one guy. His name's Caesar Cinema. I took him from, I think he had 2,000 subscribers. I took him to 10,000 subscribers with my content strategy in under 6 months.
wow.
And that's pretty good growth. I mean, I know it's not like explosive, Mr.
Yeah.
Beast type growth, but it's measurable growth.
Not everybody's going to get that growth. So if you can consistently, produce 2,000 to 10,000 in 6 months for a lot of people, it's amazing. Not
Exactly, and
everybody's going to get that viral
that's
growth.
really how I decided not to work with the influencers anymore or individual creators is because it's like they're on it and then they're not.
Yeah,
But companies have the budget, they have the manpower, they have the bandwidth to do it. So I decided that I would work strictly with corporate clients.
sure.
So
And also,
you
I
know,
feel like with influencers, it's really, a lot of it, I think, is obviously dependent on the content strategy and everything that's
mhm.
developed, but it also comes down to the influencer. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
who is that person? Are people interested in that person? Are they going to attract views? Yes or no? And
Mhm.
for the company, it's like, okay, I have this blank sheet. I can kind of create this narrative and kind of go from there. So I think that's interesting.
And a lot of people don't realize that as individuals, it is a brand. Like you're building your brand right now. You got to find out who are your competitors. You got to do competitor research. Who's in the field. You don't want to copy anybody because they're already there. Why would you copy them?
Yeah.
So you have to kind of, I always use the example of like the 16 personality types, not types, but what do you call them? It's like brand personality types, but basically
Okay.
like the sage and the everyman and that kind of thing.
Got it.
But you got
Not
to find your niche. In the hair loss niche. I'm basically the everyman. That's me. Some people are like the expert. Some people like the wild, crazy guy who's the renegade. But you gotta find your spot as an individual. Not a lot of people are willing to do the content research and competitive research to do that. So
yeah. And they kind of just go out on a limb and, you know,
copy,
yeah.
copy.
Um, Very cool. Where do you get your clients from? Is it mostly Upwork? Is it other places? How does that work? How do you prospect your clients?
Um, well, the biggest client that I had was a company called well, I don't know if I should use the company name or not, but it was a multi-million-dollar supplement company, and I was an employee of the company. They generated, over 10, $12 million a month in revenue. And like I said, YouTube was kind of left to the side. So I went in there to kind of help them with their content strategy. But uh, I realized that there's more potential for growth if I do it myself as a freelancer. So I actually quit in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. I quit the job. And I was like, you know what? I'm doing voiceover, and maybe we'll touch on that a little later. And I do YouTube marketing. I found Upwork, and I told my wife, I was like, I think I could do this. And she's like, go for it.
Very
And I
cool.
landed my first clients on Upwork, my YouTube clients, literally a week after I quit my job.
It's awesome.
That's cool.
So you're working the job, you're realizing that they're lacking in a certain department. You bring your expertise or what you know from what you've done
Hmm.
in the past, and then you kind of realize like I kind of want to run the show. I want to be in control and take this knowledge and skills and not apply it to this business, but my own, essentially.
Yeah,
Right.
and yeah, and not be limited by the constraints of a schedule, having to go to work, having to, all the stuff about being an employee. It wasn't vibing with me.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Most people that, well, you're only the second interview, but the last person that we spoke with,
Interesting.
his name's Vitaly, and he lives in the Ukraine. It was a very similar story. He was
Yeah.
doing the same type of work for a company, and then eventually, he's like, I can just do this by myself and retain
Not
more.
a lot of people are willing to make that leap though, because it is a leap of faith, and
Yeah.
it's not everybody can land on their feet.
Yeah. Well, speaking of
Unfortunately.
the leap of faith, I mean, did you have like a financial cushion, or was it, did you just kind of hop right into it, with full
I mean,
confidence?
yeah, we had some savings. What we did was we looked at what we had already, and I was already doing voiceover at the time, so I was making a few $100 here and there, and it was just a matter of if I get a client, how much they're gonna charge, because I got to be able to recoup some of what I lost from quitting the job, and if it didn't work within, I think she gave me 3 months. My
Yeah.
wife, she's like, "You got 3 months. If it ain't working and that bank account starts dropping, you got to go find another job." I was like, "Okay."
Well, that's good to
So
have. Honestly, it's in a way, it's good to have the financial restraint and to have a timeline. Like you said, your wife gave you a timeline because it's like, okay, you have 3 months to figure it out, and then
yeah,
that's it. You got to go get a job. So it really is kind of like a kick in the butt to go just get it.
yeah, and if you don't have that timeline, I'm that person. If I don't have a timeline, I'm procrastinate, and like you
Yeah,
said, put your nose
everybody.
to the grinder.
As much as people say that they don't need one, I
Hmm.
think everybody does.
Right, right.
Um, so yeah, I think we can probably hop into the voiceover thing. So DJ at the moment is mainly a YouTube marketing consultant, but he recently started doing voiceover, and this is how actually I got in contact with DJ. And this is the first time we're actually speaking face to face, believe it or not. I found DJ on Upwork for my other job, where he was helping us do voiceover for our YouTube, and yeah, we just started messaging each other back and forth, and he did a couple voiceovers. But he has a very, as you can tell already, he has a great voice. It's like this very deep, commercial esque voice. So, you want to explain a little bit about that, how that's going, kind of where you see that going?
Right. And just to go back to how it started, I mean, it came from YouTube, making my own videos, and quite literally, like most of the comments that I get, compliments on my channel, are about my voice, and that how to get a deeper voice kind of took off, and I was like, maybe there's something there, and I stumbled across this guy on YouTube, a voiceover coach, and I started watching his content. I'm like, wait, you tell me people get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to basically talk in a microphone? Like,
Yeah.
I'm sitting here struggling at this job doing YouTube consulting for hours. Marketing sucks.
Great.
So yeah, I do almost full time now. I'm actually transitioning away from YouTube consulting just because the time invested on either job, I make more on voiceover. Uh, so hopefully I'll be able to transition away full time, fully away from YouTube consulting, unless somebody really wants to pay me a lot of money to help them.
Yeah, yeah, gotcha. Um, and what types of clients do you work with doing that? And if you could kind of explain a little bit about that.
Well, like again, I started on Upwork. You were one of my first clients. Thank you for that. I think I gave you really shitty. Sorry, did I say shitty? I gave you really poor audio. So if you ever order again, I'm all hooked up now with better audio
Oh,
quality. I feel so
I
bad
thought it
about
was awesome. I thought it was
that.
great.
But yeah.
Also, a very boring subject to talk about for your first
What
one.
was the word? Rheostat? I think I
Rheostat.
mispronounced it.
Rheostat. Yeah. We're actually, yeah. So I've been. Well, just a quick side note here.
Yeah.
So those videos were made specifically for SEO purposes. So
Good.
there's an article attached to the video. I don't know if I've
Hmm.
sent you the link to it yet, but essentially I was doing like backlinking campaigns and stuff to
Hmm.
rank for Rheostat because it's a
Hmm.
highly searched word in that industry, in the electronics industry. Um, so now we're on the second page of Google. I think it probably had something to do with that video. So anyway,
A well-kept secret, by the way, since you mentioned that. You mentioned the script. You know how you get the automatically generated captions now?
on YouTube,
Yeah.
yeah,
So the algorithms actually can learn your voice over time, and they use those captions that they automatically generate as SEO. So there's really no need to even put the script onto the description. It just takes the words that are in the content and the
uh,
frequency really is what
got
it
it,
is.
got it. Very cool. Did not know that.
But yeah, what was
Anyway,
the question?
that was yeah. Sorry for that sidetrack. No, I was just asking you, um, about the different types of clients that you work with and
Oh yeah,
stuff.
actually, I just finished up a job today for a media company. Uh, I can't say the channel because it's kind of NDA, but
No
a
problem.
larger company, and most of my clients tend to be corporate clients, uh, and I'd say probably about 25% of them tend to be related to African American type things. I don't know if my voice just appeals to them, but I'd say about 25% is African American companies, and the other 75% is for other corporate stuff, particularly for um, explainer videos. Explainer videos.
Got it. Okay. Um, and for anybody who's thinking about becoming a voiceover artist,
Mhm.
um, would you have any? I know you're obviously just starting off,
Yeah.
um, but you have had some early success. So,
Mhm.
and yeah. So do you have any like suggestions for people that are interested in that, in terms of working on their voice or getting started on Upwork or trying to build up
Mhm.
clientele?
There's a lot of places to find work. Direct marketing is what I'm about to start here in the next week or so. But you got you got to have content everywhere. I mean, you got to put yourself everywhere. Don't rely strictly on one thing to be your source. Like you know, SEO, your eyes have to be everywhere, or people have the eyes from everywhere have to be on you rather. So that's the first thing is put yourself everywhere as much as you can. But more importantly, understand it's really not about the voice. Like maybe I got a nice voice, but it's really not about the quality of your voice. It's about whether or not the people that are hearing your commercial or explainer believe you. And so it is acting, and I'm not an actor, but I think I'm a little bit persuasive. So if you can make somebody believe you, it doesn't really matter what your voice sounds like, unless they want that gruff, movie theater
Yeah,
voice.
yeah,
Anybody can do voiceover. It's just a matter of can you make the listener feel something.
yeah.
And if you can do that, and if you can't practice, but if you can do that, you're going to be successful, I think.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot of clients that want a lot of different types of voices too.
Yeah.
So,
Diversity is key. You got to have as many reads as you like, different styles of reading as you can,
mhm,
and don't be one dimensional. And coaching helps a lot too.
I'm sure. And yeah, I'll definitely link that video about how to um, create a deeper voice as well
So.
in this, and then people can check that out. Um, very cool. Let's see what else. All right, yeah. How's living in South Korea? Have you lived out there, for a long time? Did you recently move out there?
uh, we lived out here for from 2013 to 2019. And then we moved to the States for like a year. And it's literally as soon as we got off the airplane in February of 2020, COVID happened. So you know how that went. And
Yeah,
I worked until August. I told you I quit the job at the company, and we flew back to South Korea January of this year. So I literally stayed in America for like 11 months and came back to Korea.
that's crazy. And
It was
what made
crazy.
you? Yeah. So what made you make the move out to South Korea in the first place? And when you were working out there, were you able to work remotely? Were you working remotely for American companies beforehand from 2013 to 2019? Or
Yeah, I came out here. I learned Korean in the military. I was a linguist,
Oh,
so I never had a chance or an opportunity to move to work in Korea. So when I left the military, I came out to Korea on a 1 year contract to teach English, just to learn the culture and stuff.
yeah, that's
And I
awesome.
fell in love, man. I fell in love with the culture. I fell in love with the land, and it's a beautiful country, it really is. Taught English for 3 years, or I'm sorry, taught English for a year. Then I went to grad school for Korean linguistics, a master's program. Taught again for another year, and then I did my MBA out here as well
Cool.
uh, at the military base out here. So I've done a lot out here, man. I have a lot of friends. I've met a lot of cool people from all over the world. Um, it's a very nice country. I really highly recommend anybody who's in the States to visit at least once, man.
That's amazing. Yeah, no, I definitely want to visit. Um,
Come on, man.
I was
Hit
actually
me up.
talking
Hit me
about.
up when you get here.
Yeah, yeah,
I'll
I
make sure you
will.
get hooked up, bro.
Yeah, definitely. We got to give it a little bit more time though. I think we're about a year out until world travel is back to normal, but we'll see.
Man, it's damn. I know, dude. It's rough right now.
It is rough.
Yeah.
Um,
Where are you, by the way? Where are you located?
I'm in Brooklyn, New York.
Oh shit, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if the media really portrays it well, but I heard COVID's pretty bad out there.
It is pretty bad. No, it definitely is.
Yeah. Okay.
They're not making anything up. It's bad. My parents actually just got it, but they're fine. So,
Oh
um,
shit, man.
yeah, no, but they're good. Um, but yeah, so living in South Korea. So now that you're freelancing
Mhm.
um, full time, do you plan on moving at all, or do you plan on staying? I know it
Yep.
obviously gives you the flexibility to jump around.
COVID aside, my 5 year plan for myself, I've always wanted to live in Hawaii, on the Big Island. So
Amazing.
my goal is to basically work my ass off for the next 5 years, this voiceover thing, and get to a point where I'm making enough money where that's the great thing about voiceover, man. You don't have to be anywhere. You can be anywhere. You can go anywhere you want to. As long as your microphone is there, you're good to go. So my goal is after 5 years, I want us to be able to move to Hawaii and just settle out there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was getting at is just the fact that you're not tied down to anything now.
And
And
that's the beauty of freelancing. Digital freelancing is amazing, man.
yeah,
It really
yeah,
is.
exactly. You can go anywhere at any time with you don't have to tell anybody. You can just pick up and leave. It's a it's a real special thing. Um, but anyway, I think we covered it all.
Hmm.
DJ, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. Episode number 2,
It
and
was a pleasure, man. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
yeah, I'm happy. Hey, and we'll have you back on, a few months down the line if you want to. We'll
Yep.
check in and see how things are going. You can kind of track your progress and see how the voiceover thing is going. And yeah, we'll take it from there.
All right, brother. Thanks for your time, man.
Yeah, of course. DJ, thank you. And I'll talk to you soon.